What's your phone number?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's so cute.
I'm going to call this meeting of the Eureka Springs Hospital Commission to order at exactly 6 o'clock. Could we have a roll call, please?
Sharon Doremus, Commissioner.
David Carlisle, Commissioner.
Kate Dreyer, Secretary.
Barbara Dix, Vice Chair.
Kent Turner, Chair.
Sandy Martin, Commissioner.
Angie Shaw, CEO.
Cynthia Asbury, CFO.
Thank you. You all should have received copies of the minutes from Kate right after the meeting last month. Did everybody have a chance to look at them? If so, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. I know that everybody got the agenda because I sent it out to you myself. Does anybody have any additions or corrections they would like to make to the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have lots of members of the hospital staff out here tonight. Does anybody have any comments? Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Since they don't have any comments and I don't have anybody else here, we'll move on past public comments. Committee reports. To our newest commissioner's surprise, she got named to the marketing committee during this last month. If you don't see me on and off, that's what ends up happening. So, what we do is we used to have several committees, marketing being one of them. So as you and Sam get things going, we'll always take some time to just hear any updates. If you have any updates, feel free to give them to us. If not, we'll just wait till the next meeting.
Brief update. We had a great preliminary meeting, set some priorities. She told me all the stuff she's doing, which is incredible. And we're going to meet monthly. And the first project we're going to work on is going to be a video about the hospital and the services.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the long and the short of it.
You need to work on a video about the new hospital too. That needs to be done probably before the hospital and the services.
Okay. Can
That's
you
one of-
send me video? Did you say?
She's got all of that.
Okay.
So, because we will need that one of these days and we won't have it. We need to get a
We'll do
video
that.
that we can use, a public video that we can take around and show what the new hospital is proposed to look like.
Okay. Will do.
Finance committee. We've actually increased the finance committee every other week. We have a finance committee meeting, and then every other week we're going to have, what did I call it, administrative operations meeting. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we've coordinated, getting coordination between finance and IT primarily. We had the first meeting of that last Thursday. Those happen on Thursday mornings at 9:30, 9:30, right? It's because my email was, I can't remember. Those happen on Thursday mornings at 9:30. I wish I could say that all of you are welcome, but Barbara comes, so we already have 2 commissioners, so we can't have any more commissioners. But we go over things like items that are costing us money that we can't afford, and things that are not profitable. That's from the finance side. Talk about the audit. We talk about the Cerner update. Just to keep everybody in check. Then I think this last Thursday we had the first meeting of the administrative operations, and I thought that was very good. We ended up finding out some things that really need to be addressed from an IT standpoint, and I'm hoping those guys are all on the way to getting them addressed. We had some deficiencies that we just can't afford to have for the safety of our data and for the backup of our data. And they weren't, while we have very little to no money, these things were not astronomically expensive, and they could save us. I mean, the way a lot of our systems right now, if we lost data, which we've had problems with because our generator hasn't been working real well, so it has a tendency to be very hard on servers, we could have stayed a chance of having what is called a catastrophic loss, where we actually lost data that we couldn't recover. So we're working on a scenario of where we can get that data back. Also trying to make sure that our communications systems or our IT communication systems are protected, so we don't. There's no fear of hacking. Good news about being a poor hospital is nobody hacks you because you know they can't get any money. The bad thing about being a poor hospital is if they do, things are bad. So we're well on the way to, I think, to getting those issues addressed. So that's what's been up with the finance now, administrative operations. So that'll just alternate back and forth. It's effectively a lot of the same people anyway, and it seemed to make some sense. And I think it went over well.
Very good.
Hospital expansion update. I'm still waiting on the governor's office. My patience is pretty good most of the time. But it is wearing a little thin, so we're going to start pushing harder immediately because I'm running up on 2024, and does everybody know what 2024 is?
Election year.
An election year. And guess what happens in Washington, D.C. in an election year?
Nothing.
Not a darn thing. So I'm trying to make sure that we don't get ourselves backed up into that. I mean, we probably would be all right in first quarter, but boy, you get it's like when the Iowa caucuses start, everything in Washington stops. So we are running a little thin. The problem is the money that's available in Little Rock is much more available than what we're talking about from the standpoint of federal dollars. So, which it is federal dollars. So that's kind of where we're at. Nothing's changed. We've got a good design. The design is in great shape. The hospital itself looks good now. All we're waiting for is for somebody to give us a helping hand here. Angie, CEO report. I should call you Miss Shaw informally.
That's fine. I'll answer. All right. I did give out a CEO report to everybody, so we'll just kind of hit the high points on that. Just to make you aware, as the increase of COVID-19 is being seen nationwide at this point. I know the last meeting I had, I said that we'd had seen several within our community, but it is nationwide. The CDC has verified that there are some new strains out there. We're going to continue following our protocols and follow what they recommend at this point. I know there is some concern as we move closer into the fall, and that's usually our respiratory virus season, so we'll just keep an eye on it and see how it goes forward. Clinical services, our focus over the past month has been community education on the services that we provide, both inpatient and outpatient. We've had meet and greets with local clinic physicians, as well as there has been some marketing completed in the Northwest Arkansas area. At our local clinics, they've had some changeover, have some new physicians, new nurse practitioners, and they were actually unaware of several of our services that we offered, so I think that went well. Into business operations, we're still waiting on our Forvis audit. I do not have a time or date for that to be released. The outsourced coding department continues to work diligently. I know that they have our charts coded and ready, pretty much current date, so they're just waiting for us to finish with them on a daily basis. We continue to look at contracts and review them and make changes as needed. Speaking of contracts, we have moved forward in contracting with a new emergency services group. We have sought quotes from multiple providers and have chosen ESS going forward. Their coverage model provides 24/7 emergency services as well as hospitalist services for inpatient patients. And, before bringing in that group, I did work and contacted the companies, the other facilities they worked for. I did my due diligence and vetted them and got glowing reviews, so I think they're going to be a good addition to our facility. Their start date will be set for October 1st. We did receive a follow-up notice from CMS this past Friday regarding the Required Price Transparency Act. It did state that our facility has met all requirements and we are in compliance with that program. Facility operations, I know Kent had kind of mentioned there's a few things that come up in the meeting. One is we've been having issues with our walk-in freezer that is less than 7 months old, I believe. And it's under warranty. It's just trying to get the repairs made. At this point, we have been keeping all of our frozen food off-site until we have that up and running and the temp stays correct. We've also had a few issues with our generator. It's the panel that is not switching over when the power goes out. It's requiring it to be switched by hand. So maintenance is currently working with our repair company on getting that updated. On another note, there's a lot of news out there regarding healthcare across the nation, and with the struggling economy, just know that our facility has made the changes that we feel is needed to keep us current and ahead of that. I know some of those changes have not been very popular. However, I feel like it was the best for our facility to make those changes. And I feel that we have a strong team in place and we're going to continue moving in the direction that we are, and that these changes are going to benefit us. I know as long as we have that team and then your continued support, I feel that we'll beat this uncertainty in healthcare as we see it.
Any questions for Ms. Shaw?
I have a couple of comments. One, the coding in real time, 2 thumbs up, and 2 more thumbs up on the CMS requirements and meeting all that, so.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you, Angie.
Thank
Cynthia, tell us how bad things are.
Things are not that bad. They're actually looking up. The first page, as you'll see, is our bank balances. It did decrease by 6% over the month of July. But with the expected changes, internal staff, and we've got our coding caught up current, we're starting to see the results of that workflow of current day coding. We have been seeing enough in our bank deposits to cover our AP and our payroll without having to do any borrowing from the commission for the month of August. So that is some great news. We will see at the end of August. So on the next page will be our revenue usage. Overall, I know it shows a slight improvement of about 12% on our revenue for the month of July. Part of that was just increase of charge capture from procedures and supplies. So again, we're doing everything we can to kind of make sure we're capturing all of our revenue across the board. So.
But we're still down over last year. We're
Yes.
staying consistently down over last year.
Correct, yes. Part of that, I do believe, is with the COVID. We're not seeing as many COVID as we did when you look at the numbers from last year, so. On the next page is the income statement. Revenue, as you said, it's down from where it was even compared to last year. One thing to note on this, for the month of July, we did have a large, about $600,000 write-off to bad debt. That is because we're working diligently to clean up a lot of the old AR from 21 and the first part of 22, which is uncollectible. So within that, and that's partly getting everything cleaned up, so as we move into Cerner, we have clean accounts, and we're not bringing forward any of the bad debt, so. And then the next page is just our balance sheet, which kind of just shows our cash and our cash equivalents. And some of our accumulated depreciation and stuff. So with that page, once we get our Corvus audit, there will be some changes and updates to make on that, so. And that's all I have for now.
Does look like revenue is just about the same year to date, so the
Yes.
high January and February did help us out.
Yes, yes.
Questions for Cynthia? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cerner continues to work. What is the estimated date at this point?
It's still set for April 15th go-live date.
But that's about 4 months ahead of where we thought it was going to be.
That is
So,
correct.
For all of those that don't remember, Cerner is the new business management, accounting, financial, all-in-all system that we're installing. And I assume that, based on what I'm hearing in the finance meetings, that things are going relatively smooth. I mean, there's a lot of work going on, but it's like we hope, they're doing most of the work. They're just asking us for data, and they're doing most of the work. Is that correct still?
Yes, that is correct. We have meetings daily, and they broke it off into a lot of subcommittees, so that way we can focus in and only spend like 30 minutes to an hour and kind of just reviewing certain things, and only certain key members pulled in there at a time, so.
Okay.
So does the Cerner system just applies to the financial, or does it include the medical information?
It-
Is that included in there?
It encompasses all. It encompasses the
All of it.
financial side and then all
If
the
you
clinical
remember-
All the
side.
IT?
If you remember that chart I showed when we first started this about 4 or 5 months ago, that had a matrix on it and had all of the things that MedHost didn't cover and
Right.
all of the things that Cerner covered. And they interface with all the hospital equipment and everything. So,
Right, so it's comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. Commissioner comments. Ms. Sharon,
No comments.
Dr. Carlisle.
No comments.
All good.
Okay. Thank you all very much for coming. You all go back to the hospital and tell them how much the hospital commission appreciates the hard work that you all put in. We know you're working hard. We know things are chaotic from time to time. We know things are old and they break and things like that. Just tell them how much we appreciate it and we understand exactly what they're doing.
We're old and we break too, so.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait, 1 second. Next workshop, we will have a workshop on September 2nd. That will be at Main Stage at 12 noon. Our next regular meeting is September 18th here at 6 p.m. Now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:18.